broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey, AfterBuzzers! Welcome to another Tuesday night. We are recapping New Girls episode 8. It's called The Decision. And I'm just going to say from the beginning, this I think was one of my favorite episodes ever.
Same.
I was hooked immediately because they were
relatable.
talking. Absolutely. Absolutely. They were talking about brunch and figuring out where to go 7 days in advance. That is typical for me.
We've actually had that conversation before,
7 days
like
in
a
advance.
couple of times. Where we're just like, where do you want to go for brunch? I don't know.
And then we send ideas around, and
Yeah.
it is a difficult decision. Nick, Winston, I completely feel ya. Before we jump into the episode, I'm your host, Kellie Knezovich. You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Kellie Knez. You can follow all of us here at AfterBuzz on social media at AfterBuzz TV. If you want to keep the conversation going, tweet at us using the hashtag ABTVNewGirl. Sorry, I feel like I've totally skipped you, Michelle.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
I love that you're my co-host.
Same.
Where can everyone find you on social media?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Michelle Phi.
Okay, so let's continue this brunch conversation.
Okay.
Because we are having great conversations tonight.
Hashtag brunch prompts.
Yeah, seriously. No, I feel you with the whole brunch decision.
Yeah.
It is a difficult decision.
It really is.
And then, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say it's just hard, like, planning one with a huge group and not, like, and you're just, like, taking suggestions, like, oh, where do you guys want to go? And in the end, everyone's just like, I don't really care. And it's like, why didn't you say that in the first place?
I mean, number one for me, bottomless mimosas.
Yes,
That has
there
to
you
be
go.
on the list. Maybe at the top of the list. But I was actually pretty impressed tonight with Reagan. She was the one that was giving the ideas, and they were like, oh, I don't know where to go. This one has really good bacon. Also a plus. Bacon is top priority.
Yes.
But Reagan was giving these suggestions, and she was acclimating herself into the loft and being a part of the roommates.
I feel like she's, like, one of them now.
She's getting there.
Like,
actually, I think she's doing a really good job at I don't know if I necessarily call it tricking, but she's really good at I don't know if I'd say faking like a roommate situation, but she's there but not all there.
Right. Like, she's, like, kind of holding herself back a little bit. Like, she still has that wall up, but, like, she's, you know.
Yeah. She likes to do one of my roommates currently, she loves to do social experiments. Like, if she doesn't do the dishes, who's gonna do them, you know? And Reagan actually kind of did something like that tonight. She's like, okay, I'm gonna say, if you guys can make a decision, what is it? If you guys, I'll sleep with one of you guys if you can make a decision as to who I'm gonna sleep with tonight.
Yeah.
It's basically to see if they can make that decision.
Right. Because they weren't able to make that brunch decision.
No.
7 days in advance.
But I understand.
Right.
No, but she's basically trying to teach him a lesson, aka a social experiment. And I love that Winston and Nick take this very seriously. They're like, there's no way she could be serious.
Right.
In the case that she is, though.
Right. I mean, you have to be prepared for any scenario,
well,
right?
It's also Winston and Nick. Of course they're going to be prepared to sleep with Reagan.
Right. Especially Nick.
Especially Nick. Yeah, and Winston was super down, too. I was pretty surprised in the beginning. They were having a gentleman's debate. And I was surprised that Nick was like, you know what, I'm just going to take off the table the fact that I really want to sleep with Reagan, and I've had a crush on her for a while. I'm just going to be a gentleman and take that off the table. And Winston's like, okay.
He's like, thank you.
As a gentleman, thank you.
Right.
Yeah. And Nick's like, okay, no. Now, as a gentleman, I think you're being a jerk. And then he calls him a dingus, which I don't think I've heard that word in a very long time.
Same.
That made me happy because he was like, what did you just call me? You called me a dingus? He was offended. Super cute. And then they brought up was it 5th grade? I believe it was 5th grade.
Yeah,
they had
5th grade.
Winston had a crush on Cindy de la Garza since 5th grade. And in 8th grade, it got real. Nick Frenched Cindy De La Garza.
He didn't.
Caused drama, major drama. So
Major
now
dramas.
Winston has dibs on Reagan.
I kind of thought that was a little unfair, though.
How so?
Because that was so long ago.
So long ago.
So long ago. And in a way, Nick, like, put off the fact that, oh, I have a crush on her for, like, a really long time. So I'm going to take that off the table. Like, he kind of went ahead and did that. So I just felt like Winston shouldn't have pulled that dibs card.
The card.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm happy that they came to a decision though, because I feel like it's in typical.
And it was really quick too.
Yeah, I mean they did have a discussion, a gentleman's debate.
Yes.
In which they did come to a decision, but at least it was a kind of logical decision.
Yeah.
Because there was reasoning behind it. It wasn't just like, oh, let's flip a coin.
Right.
You know, or draw names out of a hat.
Right.
You know, it was a legit. Well, this happened, so, you know.
You owe me, yeah.
Yeah, you owe me, exactly. Meanwhile, we see Cece and Schmidt go wedding venue shopping.
Which was really cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah.
They were trying out the different wedding venues. I think there was like a barn or like a stable or something.
Yeah.
And it just, no.
An abandoned warehouse.
In which something was going on there. Some sort of
some business or something. And they're like, oh my God, we're getting fired.
We're getting fired. Grab everything and go. And then they happen to run across the Lisbon. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that is.
I don't either. I wonder if it's a real place here in LA.
I wonder too, because if so, I feel really, really silly that I haven't heard of it.
Same. But it might be super fancy though, because Cece did say, I feel like I'm inside Kate Blanchett.
That's true.
So it might be too fancy for us.
This is one of those, it might be too fancy for us. We are not worthy. This is one of those situations that's like on Say Yes to the Dress, or, you know, anything where it's like, don't even dabble with something that you can't afford.
Right, that's very true.
Because of course you're gonna fall in love with it. And because
it's everything you've ever wanted.
Yeah, it's Schmidt's dream.
Yeah.
So while they're there, they're checking it out, and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, we really can't afford this. Let's walk away. Let's sleep on it. And Schmidt says, if I have any dreams about it, then I know it's fate. It's meant to be. Exactly. And meanwhile, he runs into his college buddy?
I think it was a college friend.
I mean, I wouldn't say friend, I guess.
Or, yeah.
Or a buddy. I'd say like
an acquaintance. Someone he went to school with.
He just kept butting heads with. This is Benjamin.
Well, Benjamin was a douchebag.
He was a jerk.
I feel like they also worked together. He was a dingus. I feel like they also worked together.
In like one of the seasons?
Yeah, like maybe in the beginning or something.
I feel like they ran into each other at a club or a party, like a high-end Christmas party or something like that, or maybe Halloween.
Yes, it was like a cowboy party or something, and
it was with all the roommates. All the roommates were there, and that's when Nick and Caroline were together too.
Yeah,
or like just
and Caroline was getting them into the party, but then Jess was like, "Oh, Cece's in trouble" or something like that, I think, or Jess was in trouble, and then the guys were just like, "Oh, well, we have to go get her."
That's right. It was like a bad date, right?
Yes.
They had to, all three of them crash the date.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, okay.
And they sang to her.
They sang to her. I also love that there was singing in this episode. Episode.
A little
bit. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So anyway, getting back to Benjamin, they start kind of going at it, the two couples, because they're kind of throwing shade at one another. Right. And
Cece was being very protective, which
I
I
mean,
loved.
as she should be, though.
Yeah.
I was proud of her for sticking up and not, just kind of hiding behind her fiancé.
Right. Let's be real here. She's like, she wears the pants in the relationship. So she's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that statement. But it's not a bad...
No, it's not a bad thing at all.
No.
It's just, like, cute.
Yeah. And so they rush to Philip, who is the, what would you call him? Like the wedding venue coordinator?
Maybe the coordinator.
Something along those lines. They run into Philip, the two couples, and they're like, we've decided we want to get married here because they want to beat the other couple out
Right.
and get married
Yeah.
there at the Lisbon, because there's only like one select date in April or something.
Yeah, because Shia LaBeouf canceled.
I love that story. I love that plot line. Oh, Shia LaBeouf. So they basically they're saying, oh, I'll put more money down, or
Right.
it's about money at first, and who can write the
Their little like
request sheet or
yeah.
something, fastest application the fastest. And
Yeah.
Philip's like, oh, you know what, it's not based on who can write it the fastest, it's based on romance. So of course
it is.
both couples are like going, oh, Benjamin and I don't know her name, Benjamin and his
Mimi.
fiance Mimi. Good call.
I read captions. I don't know, it's a weird habit, but I love
no
captions.
that's good. Benjamin and Mimi are saying how they're, he was struck by lightning.
Right.
All this blah, blah, blah.
Eye rolls.
Yeah, no thanks. And then finally, Cece tries, saying they met at their grandmother's grandpa's like grave site or
it was
memorial
like, yeah,
service,
the memorial thing.
And
they like cried over the same name or whatever.
And she's trying to pass it off that getting married as cousins is a beautiful thing, and it's not
forbidden
weird
love.
because it's forbidden
romantic
love. Trying to be a Romeo and Juliet sort of situation, not so much. Didn't quite turn out that way. But ultimately, they start trying to they try to bargain over money and saying, I have $10,000. Well, I have $10,001. And
right.
Schmidt's like, Cece, we can barely even afford the one. Like, how the heck are we going to come up? Then again, they couldn't even do a $9,000 trip to Tokyo or Japan. So there's no way that they'll be able to afford a $10,000 and one wedding venue.
Yeah.
So ultimately, Schmidt says, I don't need it, and we don't need to get married here. And Cece says, but babe, this is your dream. I want you to have it.
Right. Also,
I want to beat out Benjamin and Mimi.
Right.
And Schmidt says, so cliche.
Oh, God,
Schmidt says, I already have my dream. You're my dream.
I'm not going to lie. The moment he said that, I thought Philip was like, take it, you guys win.
Same.
I thought that was going to happen.
I did too. I also thought of Rapunzel. No?
Oh.
Okay. You didn't go there with that one. Okay.
No.
I definitely went to Tangled in my mind where,
I love that movie, but
Eugene's like, you're my new dream, or something along those lines.
okay.
Getting back to New Girl. Enough Disney talk.
The show that we're watching.
Exactly. So, let's go back to Reagan, Nick, and Winston.
Mm-hmm.
So the two guys decide that Winston is ultimately going to sleep with Reagan.
Right.
And he's in the car with Allie, his partner. And, he's kind of freaking out.
Right.
I think kind of is an
understatement.
Big understatement.
He was really freaking out.
Yeah. And,
well, because Reagan came in and she was just like, make sure you like numb your mouth before.
Don't eat anything 2 hours before.
Yeah, like she gave him all these requests, I guess.
Oh, of course Winston was scared and terrified and like, shoot, am I up for the challenge?
I'd be like, what are you doing to me?
Seriously, are you some sex fiend? What is going on?
Right.
So Winston's like, oh man, I just want to know my best feature. Allie, tell me, what's my best feature? And Allie immediately regrets her decision. But ultimately she tells him, your best feature is that you have kind eyes. I thought that was super sweet.
That was really sweet of her.
And Winston really took that to heart too.
Yeah. What are snail eyes?
I don't know.
Like
I have no idea. And even Nick said later too. He was like, "You do have snail eyes."
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Are they like beady eyes, or
do snails even have eyes?
Don't they have the little?
Oh, okay, yeah, they have like antennas, but you can't see their eyes. So it's like the whole time I was thinking, like, are his eyes shaped like a snail, or I don't know.
Maybe he's saying he has really big eyes?
Maybe. Well, if you guys know,
if let us know. Please let us know. We would love to
send us a picture or something.
Yeah, just type into Google, what are snail eyes?
Right.
So ultimately, Winston goes back to, or Winston, is like, okay, I have kind eyes, like I can do this. Kind of give him the confidence that he needs.
Self-esteem was boosted.
Yeah, he feels good. Nick and Reagan are in the loft, and Nick says, we made a decision, and Reagan's kind of shocked that it's before 9 p.m. in which the decision has been made. And to that, she starts trying to seduce Nick.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
she's very breathy in the way that she tries. I don't even know what the heck she's talking about.
She's talking about some drug that like
pharmaceutical something
about hepatitis C, and I wrote down here, I was like, how is she making Hep C so sexual?
So sexual.
Like, how is that even? That's not possible for anyone in the world.
No,
except for Megan Fox.
For Megan Fox, and of course Nick is like eating out of the palm of her hand.
He's like, what?
And she is just so breathy with it.
Right.
And she is trying way hard to seduce him. And it works. Nick cannot get out of his chair.
I love that he was like, I know what you're trying to do to me.
And it's not working. JK, it's
and
totally
he,
working.
Rolls away.
I know. So ultimately, the sex bet is reopened. Mm-hmm. And Winston is like, this is not fair. Like, I won fair and square. And Nick's like, no, the whole Cindy de la Garza was... No, you can't even bring that up anymore. That expired. The dibs expired. So they decide to decide to turn the tables on Reagan. Ask her who she thinks is most attractive.
Yeah.
And if it's the same person that they have decided,
like in a
like written down, on a large sheet of paper, then the sex can
happen.
Yes, it can occur. And during this conversation, Winston kind of realizes, I like Allie.
Yeah.
He's so sweet. He's like, the best part of my day is when I'm with her, and when I'm with her, time flies. And
but it's like, how did he not see that?
I don't know. He needed some guidance.
You're right. He did.
And I'm really proud of Winston for, this whole episode. I feel like he's grown up so much.
Yeah,
he's grown up a lot this season in terms of talking to...
girls.
Trying to break up with in terms of girls.
Yeah.
Trying to break up with Reagan's ex for her. He's gaining a lot of confidence, and
you're right.
And he actually was able to ask out Allie.
Yeah.
I was really proud of him. It made me so happy.
Same.
And then the answer, not so much.
Yeah.
She said, yes, of course I'll go grab a drink with you.
Yeah.
But can my boyfriend come?
Right.
And he was like, your boyfriend? Officer down to go have drinks with your boyfriend.
Right. He's like, I probably shouldn't have said that. And that was really funny.
Yeah, I love that. So meanwhile, while he's out, I think he's at the station with Allie. Mm-hmm. Nick and Reagan are back in the loft, and Nick says, "So your room," or Reagan says, "So your room or my room?"
Yeah.
Of course, forcing Nick to make a decision, and Nick cannot do so.
Not by himself.
Not by himself.
He has to discuss it.
He has to think about it for a while.
Which is nice, because it's like he's being very considerate of like her feelings and her thoughts. And it's like, well, where do you want to have sex?
Yeah.
So that's very gentleman-y of him.
The gentleman debate kind of continues. Of course, he does the awkward moonwalk out of the room. Loved bringing that back. I loved seeing that. I forgot all about it. But I was glad that it came back into play tonight. And ultimately, Nick says that he is not going to have sex. And he is in his no sex outfit. Yeah. Which is a jumpsuit.
An orange.
A bright orange jumpsuit.
Bright orange one.
So instead, he asks Megan Fox to go grab a drink. Oh, Reagan to go grab a drink.
Megan Fox.
Same
difference.
Yeah. To go grab a drink at the bar. And she is in her no sex outfit. Which I for sure thought was a onesie, but it's a pair of fuzzy pajamas.
Oh, it is? I thought it was a onesie.
I mean, she said it was fuzzy pajamas. Oh. I feel like she would have specified a onesie.
True.
Regardless.
Well, she said it had a butt flap, so...
Oh. Probably a onesie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. So Cece and Schmidt have decided on a wedding venue. They are getting married at a soon-to-be empty warehouse. Don't know where that is. Don't know what it looks like.
It could be cool, though. Depending on how they decorate it.
Yeah. I think it'll be cool. I think when Jess is back, I think she'll be heavily involved in it.
I think so, too.
It'll look
You're
so
right.
great. With Jess's help. Without Jess's help, I feel like they could...
Yeah.
They might be at a
Jess
loss.
is more of like a Pinteresty girl.
I completely agree. Yeah.
She
very
knows
Pinteresty.
how to do.
Winston shows up and says, and, Allie has a boyfriend. And they're like, oh, Winston, is there anything we can do for you? And he's like, actually, yes. And they form a band. Kind of. Sing. They do a little musical number in which
like
Winston
Motown
is...
number.
Yeah, Winston's telling them how to, go slower. And they're singing. And in the bar, which is huge for Reagan, to be a part of this kind of craziness that is
right.
typical for the Loft, but
Yeah.
it's weird for Reagan, and she's all in.
I'm telling you.
It's great.
She's like in there now.
I like it.
She's one of them.
I like it.
Same.
I don't want her to leave. I'm pretty content
either.
with how things are going.
She's a great actress. Like, she's making us
impressed.
like love her so much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like her a lot. I like her character. I wasn't sure how they were gonna portray her, and I think she's doing really well. I think she's
so too.
integrating herself well with the apartment, and I think it's only gonna get deeper
Yeah.
until she has to leave. Do you want to get into predictions?
Of course, always.
Alrighty. All right, let's go with predictions.
Predictions. Okay.
Ew.
There you go.
Oh, that's a little freaky.
Creepy. Okay. I think that Nick and Reagan are definitely gonna get together.
Okay.
And
Wait, they only have what, 3 more episodes in which she's.
so much can happen in 3 episodes, Kelly.
Okay.
So much.
Okay, I'll let you. Yep.
I mean, I know it's only 30 minutes, but a lot.
Hey, that's 90 minutes, okay?
Right. And then I still think Schmidt and Cece are going to get the Libsyn.
You think so?
Yeah.
How so?
Just because of like what I mentioned earlier, like his answer, how he was like, "Oh, well, marrying you is my dream." Like,
So you think the
I
Lipson
think,
will
yeah.
reach out to.
I think so. I think like even though they probably don't have the money for it, I'm sure like they'll find a way to figure it out. Like whether it be Schmidt like having a connection to someone who can pull strings, or like Cece's mom maybe coming back and being like, "Okay, fine, like I will help you." You know.
I wonder if they'll get the Lisbon for free. If it'll be like we really like your answer of, she's your dream. Here you go.
Yeah, that's true. That could be possible too.
Maybe. You never know.
Yeah.
What do you think about Winston?
I don't think Allie really has a boyfriend.
Do you think she's just not interested in him?
I think she's scared.
Hesitant.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
At first, I didn't think she had feelings for him because she was so on board with, like, him going to have... Like, she looked okay with him,
trying to get with
trying to,
Megan
like...
Fox,
yeah. So, that made me think that, she probably doesn't like him in that way. But after seeing her interact with Winston and how he's like, "Oh, let's go grab a drink," and then, like, she pulling the boyfriend card, like, I feel like that's probably a defense. Maybe she just doesn't want to get hurt again.
I completely agree. Those were literally the words coming out of my mouth. That was going to be my prediction. I feel like they will get together. I feel like she doesn't have a boyfriend, and I think that she has to kind of keep her guard up because they're partners. I mean, how awkward would it be if something happened and they went on a couple dates and then they just found their chemistry is not there?
And it's just awkward.
And then now their work life is awkward.
Yeah.
So I feel like she's really hesitant, and she wants to pretend like she has a boyfriend because she doesn't want to ruin anything or make anything awkward.
Maybe it has happened to her before.
Could very well be. Yeah. I feel like, though, Winston wouldn't hurt anyone.
No.
I feel like, if anything, she would hurt him.
Maybe that's what she's scared of.
Ooh.
Because he's, like, a really sweet person.
Yeah, she doesn't want to hurt him because she knows he's
kind
sensitive.
Eyes.
He has kind eyes. You can't just look away. Yeah, I'm anxious to see what happens with Nick and Reagan as well. I don't know. I wonder if she might like kind of make an appearance, maybe in like the wedding when
maybe she'll be his date.
Exactly.
Oh, it'd be so cute.
That'd be fun.
That would be really
I like
fun.
that. All right. Well, I feel like this season's going to be lots of lovey-dovey stuff, and lots of couples are going to get together. I'm really hoping for no breakups.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with Jess too when she comes back.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Same. It'll be fun though.
There will be a love interest for sure, but we have yet to see him.
Maybe John Cho.
That'd be cool. I don't know. That'd be cool though. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in to our after show for New Girl. I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week. Sorry, y'all can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Kellie Knez.
And you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter @ Michelle Phi.
I'm so focused on brunch right now. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going. My mind is preoccupied.
Like 8 at night. Brunch.
7 days away. Come on, we gotta plan these things.
You're right.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Have a good week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.